All right, let's talk about the microdosing debate that has been going on with all of these Rita and TERS controversy. I don't know if you've been paying attention in the health industry world, but there is a big argument going on between should you be doing weekly doses or should you be doing split or micro doses of your GLP-1 medication. And someone that I follow very closely is Dr. Dean St. Mart, who has a PhD in pharmaceutical chemistry. And he dived into this situation, and I want to kind of go over exactly what he said. And I'm going to try and put this in layman's terms for you, because it is kind of confusing. Okay, so the argument is, should you be taking your GLP in a weekly dose, or is it okay to split the dose into multiple injections per week? So first he says that there's protection strategies like AIB and albumin binding that make DPP-4 cleavage clinically irrelevant. So AIB is the tweak that they make to the drug that makes it so it doesn't break down in your body super quickly. And DPP-4 is the enzyme that will break down these drugs in your body, and then you can excrete them. But the tweak that they do to these drugs make these things irrelevant because they will stay in your body for a total half-life of 6 days. And the C20 fatty diacid moiety aids in albumin binding and prolongs the half-life to 6 days. And the C20 gets tacked onto the drug, so albumin, which is a super abundant protein that is found in our blood, holds onto it tight and doesn't let go. So as the pharmacokinetics of the drug is linear, the AUC would be similar to daily because weekly dosing is the same. So for example, if you take 2 milligrams per week and you split that down into 4 500 microgram shots per week, it's going to be the same. But splitting the doses lowers Cmax, and Cmax is the peak concentration of the drug in your body. So if you take it once weekly, you're going to get higher peaks and lower troughs, which basically leads to more side effects. That's why people like the split dosing, because it leads to less side effects. There's lower peaks and lower troughs. You get more of a steady serum level. So technically, just looking at the pharmacokinetics, if you do your split dosing, you should reach steady serum levels within 4 to 5 weeks, which is why you probably have often heard people saying, well, it doesn't really kick in until 4 weeks. That's because that's when you reach your steady serum level of the drug. Now, Dr. Dean St. Mart does argue that these drugs weren't technically designed for just weight loss. They were designed for people that have diabetes. And people that have diabetes have lower receptors numbers, lower sensitivity, and output. So for people that do have diabetes that have this lower receptor sensitivity and output, it probably is more prudent for them to take a 1 weekly dose. That way you make sure that the drug attaches to the albumin and the receptors in your body. But technically healthy populations, and I use that in quotations, basically, if you do split dosing or microdosing versus 1 weekly injections, you should get the same results within 4 to 5 weeks, just judging off of the pharmacokinetics. Now, when the pharmaceutical companies were designing these drugs, they realized that if they tried to tell people that they have to do a daily injection, that would be a very hard sell. It would be very hard to kind of market that to the general population. So a marketing strategy for them is to say, yes, all you have to do is once weekly injection, which I know a lot of us peptide gurus and enthusiasts out there, we like our injections. We don't really mind them. But for most people, they don't want to do this every day or multiple times a week. But if you're a relatively healthy person and you want to lower the side effects of the drug, it's much better to do a split dosing or a micro dosing than taking a once weekly injection. Anyways, I hope this clears up a lot of things for you. Let me know what you like to do. You like to do weekly injections or split dosing? Thanks for watching, guys.